And we're back on another exciting. Oh, why is my name Strange New Worlds? That's weird. Okay, on another exciting episode of Starfleet Boy, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 2, Far From Home, and we're far from home in all of our subsequent. No, we're all home. We're all home in all of our little squares.
We're far from each other. That's what you were looking for.
That's what I was trying to say. We're far from one another. We haven't reunited here, but we will at DST or one of the big conventions next year. It'll be very cool. Do an epic video of some kind. PJ, hello. Welcome, gentlemen.
I just hit my leg off the thing. Sorry.
That's all right. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, gentlemen, to another episode stream reaction for Star Trek Discovery. What did you guys? Who wants to do the summary? And
did you tweet the link?
I did. Oh, we went early. The link goes out at 6:30, so there's a minute left. Oh, it smells like something caught on fire in my house. So I might have to make you guys lead the show.
Everything okay?
I think so. It's a
As
really
long as
strong.
we can't see the fire. It's not too close to you, so it's fine.
The alarms haven't gone off, but you know how you can smell the strong cooking smell coming through your door? It's like a little worrisome. Anyways, we won't worry about
Borealis.
that.
That's that episode of The Simpsons. That's amazing. I know what you're referencing. I love that.
I didn't know. I just thought it was funny and it was fun.
There's a fire in your kitchen. No, just Aurora Borealis.
Dom, Trek on the Tube normally does the episode summary, but as you are here for the first time on our Thursday live stream, I would give you the honor of doing it if you would like to.
I can do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yes.
What I remember.
Yes. Go for it.
So, as the first episode focused on Burnham, this episode focused on what happened to the Discovery when it landed in the 32nd century. The ship took a beating. It needed some repairs. We got some good interactions between different characters on the ship, such as Stamets and Jet Reno, and all these other people. And then Saru and Tilly went off to a saloon in this place, which is hosted by Corridonites from Enterprise. They repair some stuff. There's some Western hijinks with a scoundrel. And then at the end, they reunite finally with Burnham. So yeah, it was a very interesting episode. And we'll go into more detail in this stream.
Oh my god, well done. Beautiful. That was great. And it was very to the point. I'm very impressed. That's much better than I can do. It's PJ and Sean do good ones too, but I'm the worst. I used to do them and they would last the whole show. My summaries. He's laughing because it's true.
I write reviews for them, and usually my first draft is 4 pages of what happened in this episode, and then I just have to cut things down, cut them out, and be like, okay, I can just say this. So I try and get succinct and to the point.
Well done.
Well, he began, in a light summary from TNG, he began thousands of millions of years ago. And I'm like, dude, we don't need the backstory to the species that built the bloody thing.
We got a bunch of folks saying, hello, the Sleepy Trekkie is here. Go check out the Sleepy Trekkie's channel and subscribe. Ian Mays is here. Hello, Ian. I just started following you on Twitter. I am sorry I never followed you before, Ian. You've been on the stream for a long time, so apologies about that, but I just started following you. And then Ruben, who's a dear friend of mine since I was in primary school, is here, and he doesn't watch Discovery. He's a disco disser, and he's or actually just not interested, period. But he's here to support us, which is nice. Alexandra Sandu is here. Hello. And Caleb, wow, we have a huge full house of regulars, so welcome. Let us know what you thought of this episode too, guys, so we can talk about it. But I want to talk about the Star Trek 4 reference in the beginning. Was it just me? After the time warp?
Are you talking about the what do they call it? The thing that they need to repair the alloy?
Well, no, you remember after they came out of the time warp and there was just the red alert light, and and the screen's like spinning in the background, and it just like kind of was in slow motion. I just felt the vibe that like when they were showing everyone's faces, like against the panels and stuff like that, it had
Oh.
that similar kind of like Star
Oh,
Trek
yes.
really?
4.
I would say that's quite vague a reference. Two separate things. But yeah, sure, it was a reference.
I don't know if it was an intentional reference, but I felt it. We'll have to ask Olatunde Osun.
That's as much a reference as like the fact that Burnham and the ship arrived at different points in time is a reference to Star Trek 09 and how Spock and Nero don't appear at the same time, right?
Kind
It's
of.
like, it's like as vague as that.
Yeah, I would say that's less vague than this reference.
Wow. By the way, we say VAG here on Starfleet Boy. It's VAG, sabotage, and VAG. Braxton's
like
here.
VAG.
Hello.
I don't like the sound of VAG.
No,
I'm gonna go with vague.
yeah, I'm
You
going
don't
to
like
stick
VAG?
with that.
I don't know.
Alright.
There
You
could
don't
be
need to be
some
talking about no
there.
VAG.
Oh my gosh, Michael Gaines, hello. This Week in Trek, go check out that podcast. Really awesome podcast. Thanks for checking in, Michael. Very cool. All right, so I guess we could talk about all the scenes. What did you guys think about the crash?
Crash.
Yeah, it was great. I liked how they did the barrel roll, and they used the shields to soften the blow. And for TV, it looked pretty good.
It looked pretty good. I think it was the best crash landing because we've only had Voyager crash land, right? Is that the only other ship?
I think
mean,
on
If
TV,
we're
yeah. I
talking
think.
just
Lower
TV.
decks, kind of.
Oh, lower decks.
Oh yeah, lower decks counts. I love the
I
one.
like the
It's not like that.
effect
I don't
of
know if I can spoil that.
the gravel on the floor next to Saru's face. That was a cool
Yeah, that was
effect.
fun.
Yeah, they still have rocks in the ceiling.
They still have rocks in the ceilings.
Yeah.
I did love the whole procedure of that, like when they're like brace. I also thought the planet or moon was interesting, how it had like a huge chunk of it kind of gouged out or whatever, exploded out, and then those bits were in stable orbit around the planet, so it looked like was it Avatar that had the floating rocks also?
Avatar, yeah.
It looked like the Avatar world. And I like that they land on a glacier. I like that they used Iceland twice but they were really clever about it because I did think it was like a different vibe from the other one.
And
So
it
that
was
cool.
nice to see like Saru take charge. I mean, I know we're kind of used to him taking charge, but it's still nice to see him like give out orders and tell people what to do.
So to be
Yeah,
clear, they ended up a year later in a different place altogether than Michael Burnham.
Yes.
So the season will pretty much take place in 3189 as it is now, not 3188.
Yeah.
Right.
And so Calypso is probably taking place in 4189 at this point.
It depends how they do it. They could do it that retcon to be okay. Zora was just saying, "I'm 1,000 years since I was built," and then it's just 70 years in the future. Or it could be that Calypso is 1,000 more years. We'll have to see. In that regard.
Someone else pointed out that the Vidrash was also mentioned in
Vidrash.
Calypso. So I don't know what that.
Apparently, that's the Federation.
Right, the Vidrash. Ooh, look at PJ's lights. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, apparently that's like the name for the Federation, which is weird because what's his name? In Calypso, he was fighting the Vidrash.
So it's either like the actual complete Federation, or if everyone's scattered, it could be another remnant of the Federation, and they're kind of different. We really know little, but it's meant to be like a synacope, whatever that is, of the Federation. I do a lot of research on this.
I never
like
that
stretching out a
Look it up.
word.
Oh,
Something.
synacope, cool.
Yeah.
The Vidrash, if they're bad, that would be a crazy plot twist, which would mean that Mr. Sahil is evil and that we have to like turn our allegiance.
You'd be so sad.
Sahil still talks about the Federation instead of saying the Vidrash.
The Vidrash. Although the Vidrash is just the pigeon like tongue word for Federation, so it's not necessarily what they're called. They're probably just referring to the Federation as a Vidrash. I like that we get more insight into these couriers. So that character Zara, was it Zara, right?
Zara. Yeah.
Played by Jake Weber.
Who's great. Yeah, it's true.
He's very good.
Yeah, he had like spurs on his boots. He was very cowboy.
He's played a cowboy
cool.
in Hell on Wheels with Anson Mount, actually.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
I
I'm
know.
gonna see
Friends
that.
with Anson Mount.
I gotta see
Probably how he
that.
got the job.
Well, he was main man in Dawn of the Dead remake.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
That's right.
Well, I don't know what the character's called, but he was like the main guy.
Main man.
Well, I think Sarah Polly was the main character in that movie.
Was she? Oh, that's right, because it starts off from her perspective.
Yeah, he's like the lead male, I guess, guy. And
It's
there's
an
a guy from
ensemble.
there's a guy from Modern Families in it too, isn't he?
There's just everyone in
I
that thing.
digress.
What is going on with Detmer? By the
Yeah,
way,
that
she
was
got a bridge
weird.
clap. I thought that was interesting. She got a
was
nice little bridge
quite
clap
shook.
from everyone.
I screamed bridge clap. I was like, "Oh, bridge clap!"
But
She
what is
has-
up with her?
She has more than a head injury because I think it has something to do with her implant and whatever happened during the time jump.
I'm
Just
really
don't know
hoping
their
it's
minds.
not. I'm really hoping
Oh.
it's not a control thing.
Oh, I
no.
sure hope it isn't. I'm
Oh,
Or
sure.
maybe it's okay. Maybe it's
But-
the sphere data sentience that went into her mind.
I think that would be too convoluted,
No.
personally.
I don't understand why the sphere data, which is technically now part of the Discovery, didn't protect itself when the ship crashed.
Oh, like maybe it was inadvertently protecting the Discovery. I mean,
Wait,
there
that's
could have been like micro adjustments to those lasers that they fired to soften the blow. And
Maybe they forgot.
maybe they forgot. They might have forgotten a lot of things.
They got rid of the Red Angel suit. Good. They need to not mention control or any of that stuff from season 2. Just move
They
on.
also need to
Just
kill
move
George.
on.
Boom.
I like Giorgio in this episode.
I like Giorgio in this.
Yeah.
episode.
Michelle Yeoh's perform. Okay, I'll say this. Michelle Yeoh is a great actor, and I love her. Captain Giorgio. I've never liked her Emperor Giorgio. I think that she's never done a good job at Emperor Giorgio because for some reason the role just doesn't suit her. She's never found like the correct groove. This episode wasn't too bad actually. It was the best Emperor Giorgio that I've seen her do. So I don't know if they've decided to like kind of tweak the way they write the character or the way she was directed maybe, or maybe she's just coming into her own or whatever. But it was better this time around.
Like we used to say about Giorgio, if she had a mustache, she'd be twirling it all the time in season 2 because that's the way she's written in that season. And she's literally like eating apples and acting like an asshole. You know, like that's you know. But now you see her in this, and it's not like she's toned down or like they changed her or anything. They've given her better material.
I love
do
that
like
whole
the fact
scene.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I love the whole scene with her and Nan where they explain to each other why they stayed on the Discovery, and Nan was talking about that was really touching that Ariam's life affected her so much that she wanted to give service to the Discovery and go with them in the future based on that. And then Giorgio kind of interesting, like how she's like, I like to keep things interesting and hop from universe to universe. So I think they're setting it up maybe for like the possibility of Giorgio departing and going, sliders part Star Trek, sliders Star Trek edition, or something like that. And maybe Section 31 is like a larger organization in terms of like exploring other universes and things like that. And maybe Section 31 is eventually the way we tie into things like the Kelvin verse, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. It was an interesting concept.
I was gonna say the whole fight. I'm jumping ahead, but the whole fight sequence and like the fight sequence is great. It's well directed. Michelle Yeoh knows how to do those fight sequences. I just think that the theme of the season, which is the theme of basically every Star Trek Discovery season, which is like we have to unite, and it's all the positivity and the good thing of the Federation is saving the day. I think all of that is completely undercut by the fact they have to be saved by Georgiou doing bad things. She has to come in and kill people, and she has to come in and be the thug that she is, and like build on the fact that she's basically Space Hitler times 1,000, and that's how she saves the day. And I would have preferred Saru's negotiation and Saru's leadership and the growth of Saru and the ideals of the Federation that is no longer there technically to have saved the day instead of Giorgiou's badness yet again.
I hear what you're saying, but I thought it was great that Saru actually did take charge of the situation and did like prevent her from actually like doing more harm. But I also liked one of the reasons I like this episode a little bit more than last week is that we all kind of I conceded and we all kind of maybe agreed that like the whole like disintegration and like constant it was just like cartoon violence in a sense where like it didn't matter, you could just disintegrate like 50 people and there were like no real consequences, so to speak, or like no mention about a stun setting. And here the violence when it was happening felt more like justified or real. Like there wasn't any, you know that weapon even is so brutal. I thought that was interesting, by the way. Poor Cal. But also again, like, not, it didn't feel like it was unnecessary violence. This violence felt more like there was more at stake with this violence. Like you really
I
felt
definitely agree with that.
like that. So I would give it kudos for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the well, they were doing the Western kind of thing, it's just like the strangers come into town and they help out because the villains coming, and Enterprise did that with like Klingons at some point.
What did you
it-
guys think of that whole take, by the way, that it was like a Western and it was very much stylistically like a Western? Did it work for you guys?
I very much liked it, and it helped build that tension you were talking about. Like the violence and like the kind of tension of the scenes were good.
Yeah, I think it really helped from a world building point of view, just showing that it's like a lawless time with the Western like saloon aspect.
Yeah, they're very
So I
much in your face telling you that this version of the Star Trek universe now is literally the Wild West. Like anything goes. Like Starfleet's not around to kind of protect the right people or keep things in order, or and there would be other, like the Romulan Empire and the Klingon Empire. What's going on with them? Is it all just completely lawless? Like, but yeah, I like the Western vibe you get. Instead of the Dirty Dozen, it's like the Dirty Duo with Tilly and Saru. And Saru is really coming into his own now, and he uses his spikes now.
Yeah, I would like
great.
the fact they don't forget he has spike ganglia. I like that, and he used it to good effect. So yeah.
Michael brings up a nice reference to the original series of Wagon Train to the Stars, and it might actually be a return to that kind of like vibe of Wagon Train to the Stars. So it certainly feels that way.
Did it not feel almost like an original series episode of like Tilly and Saru going out into the open, walking into the unknown, kind of just like meeting up with these unknown people who turn out to be great? I like the fact that they're actually good people, and they're it's a huge coincidence, I know, but they run into the very people that like love Starfleet, and and I like the fact that they use the programmable matter to repair the communications, and I was like, this is an easy thing to do, and and the guy figures out like right away, oh, you're a time traveler. So
Yeah,
it's like,
from all the little like the gamma waves, and then just they didn't repair this, so they're from the past. That was very nice.
I was really hoping we would get a little bit. Just they were kind of pushing it to reveal how they keep time travel technology like outlawed, so to speak, or at bay or whatever. And I was wondering because there was kind of like the way he was like, Cal seems really shocked that they're time travelers and like kind of feels like, oh no, I just helped the wrong people. Like maybe I don't know if I read that there or something like that, but I wonder if other time travelers come to this time period and get killed immediately because they're time travelers, because like that's how banned
I think
time travel
definitely
technology
have to
is.
somehow explain more than just the technology was destroyed. Like
Yeah.
there's something that stops them from coming to now or whatever.
well, Book says in the first episode there are obviously some kind of dire consequences to ripping holes in space-time and using that for time travel. So the universe itself, like the fabric of the universe, seems to be like very imbalanced. Like you got the dilithium exploding, the Gorn destroyed. What is it? Subspace communications or long range
destroyed
sensors?
like 2 light years of
It was 2 light years of subspace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was changing my name. Okay, we got a couple of comments to go to, which is, let's see here. Theory: Detmer is Zora. Interesting theory.
Maybe.
Zora? Oh yeah.
Zora.
Yeah.
So apparently she's already posted, the actor behind Detmer has already posted a couple of pictures of her prepping up for season 4, which might
so-
throw this theory completely off the rails, but I feel like that's a ruse and she's gonna die. I feel like that was foreshadowing. She's the only one with her eyes open lying on that bloody bridge. That doesn't count as a swear word.
No, I think other.
And I was like, are they gonna kill her?
By the
Wishington has
way-
her eyes open as well.
Dom, if Toddy
Oh,
over
okay.
there, if Trek on the Tube swears, and
yeah, I saw on
we
Twitter,
we
yeah.
catch it, there will be dire consequences. I don't know what they are yet. The audience might have to decide, but it'll be fun. You can't lose this early in the competition. It's not
No,
gonna
I can't.
happen.
I mean, my notes have
I-
swear words, but you don't see those.
I think Detmer's ocular implant is simply malfunction after being bashed out. Yeah, I hope it's just that, but they're putting a lot of emphasis on it because there was a scene. There just seems to be like a lot of like dramatic emphasis placed
Just
on
wait
it. So
till
I
her
feel
eye
like
goes red to indicate that she's evil.
I wonder what the next Star Trek show set after Discovery will look like. Like Discovery for the rest of its run will probably be focused on rebuilding the Federation and Starfleet. Who knows?
I don't think we'll have one post Discovery for a long, long time.
For a long time, yeah.
This is it. They're doing this. If this runs for like 7 seasons or however long they do, this will be like, and then we'll be focusing on other things. And give Larry Nemechek his show with the Enterprise B or whatever it is.
I wish that they never killed Captain Giorgio and instead kept her around as a regular character and just had the evil Emperor Giorgio appear as a one-time character. I know it's a blessing to have Michelle Yeoh. She's such a great actor, but you know, it is a difficult character to want to like because as cool as she is and the badass things that she does, Sean pointed out wonderfully earlier that she's like a mass murderer, and you know, and like wouldn't hesitate if unchecked. She probably wouldn't hesitate to do it again, as was evidenced by her plan for the Klingon homeworld in season 1.
See, we talk about how Saru kind of controls her at the end of the episode, but you always have this. You're like, is she controlled or is she choosing to kind of back down just because she's having fun anyway? And she's like, oh, whatever. I'm not this invested that I want to start this thing. But if she really wanted to, she'd just kill everyone or whatever.
I think she's
ahead.
acquiescing to the Discovery crew and just kind of being part of that crew because it's convenient for her at this time. And the moment it no longer is convenient for her, or something better comes along, you can be sure she's probably not going to kill like the Discovery people, but she'll just leave. I think Saru and her are going to.
She could have taken the dude's ship and left.
Yeah, I mean, she can go out and explore anytime. She can just fuck off whenever she wants, but she seems to have a soft spot for this crew, and Michael Burnham still.
Burnham in particular.
Yeah.
And Burnham is like her anchor to that crew. Like she's sticking around primarily, I guess, for her.
Especially in like this episode, she's talking about we need the communications to talk to Michael. We need to get this up and running to help Michael. So it's very much a Michael being her anchor, yeah.
And I think her and Saru are gonna keep butting heads, and it's gonna reach a boiling point, and she's gonna go away somehow. But she's still gonna help. She saved their asses this time. I mean, she's still helping, even though she's evil.
Well, I really liked the Saru. There was like Saru, Nan, Tilly, and Giorgio scene. There's like that little briefing that they did. I think that was really good, and all the dynamics that were great. But throughout the whole scene, I was like, why is Giorgio even there? Like, she's no one. She shouldn't be. She's not part of the crew. She's just here because she's kind of invested in Burnham in particular. Saru could be just like, get out of my briefing room. I'm doing this with my officers. I don't need you. Or like, does he really need input?
Well, she did save them from Leland, so I mean, she's done a lot for them.
Anyone could have killed Leland.
Well,
Nan got incapacitated by Leland, and it was up to Giorgio to do it. So
I would argue she killed Leland because she was there and she wanted to.
Yeah,
she did, but
someone else could have.
As a result, she did save everybody's lives.
Right.
She's an odd member of the crew.
She's still
she's very strange.
Like Tilly mentions that she when they're walking, that Giorgio's still an engineer. She can do all this stuff. And Saru's like, yes, but I don't trust her. I trust you. So she's still useful to Saru. He recognizes that. But yeah, they're just trying to keep butting heads. And also, like, we see in some like teasers that she puts on an admiral rank rank badge, which will something will
Oh,
happen in regard to that.
something will happen in
Um,
regards to.
so
I
yeah.
love the Linus return and the whole scene with Linus and Giorgio, and I loved how Giorgio tricked Non into the whole sequence of repairing the ship. Everything worked for me except that it was terribly disappointing that it was just like a little ribbon cable that was all that they needed to like make the ship like perfect, like
That's very
yeah.
Star Trek.
I know it is very Star Trek.
It's very
I don't know.
Enterprise. Enterprise does that all the time. Archer's always it's like you have to do this, that. Then the technobabble is huge, and then Archer's just like he pushes a button. Oh my god!
I love this episode, but that scene just like with like they piled on the drama, like Stamets bleeding. The music was like really dramatic. Like he's like trying really hard to like replace this cable, and you're right. I mean, I just thought that like it might have been great if a .7, which could easily have done that, actually did that because they have
Yeah,
them right
and
on
we
the.
saw. I don't know if they have them on the Discovery, but
Oh,
there
okay.
was Jet Reno's like drone that
Oh,
was
that's right.
following me. Um, maybe that could have done it. Maybe it couldn't. But it seems like just to be there to tell Stamets like, "Hey, it's a meter in front of you."
Lots of great gags. I also really loved the like the between he and Hugh that it's lightened up finally and they're back to being romantic with each other. It was really weighing on me how like terrible their relationship was last season.
Yeah.
They kind of
So
reset a lot of things on that in that regard.
yeah, I think so. Like we almost kind of got a wipe of that, right? Like it wasn't, I mean, you kind of got that vibe at the end of season 2 when Hugh, confronts him and says he loves him and he's choosing his family and that's why he's going, instead of being on the Enterprise. So it's not like out of the blue, but yeah, definitely a nice. I loved seeing them be lovey with each other.
Yeah.
I also I also like the scene where he's in a coma and it's like it's like a throwback almost to the original series. Like he's not wearing his shirt, he's just wearing the pants like Kirk would often be in his in a sickbay bed, and it was the exact kind of like sound of the sickbay beds from the original series, and then it pans up, and then the very like more modern thing is like as soon as they uninduce the coma, it like boom like is bustling and it's back to this like very busy sick bay, and that whole sequence
That
really
scene.
worked for me and stuff like that. So there was a lot of great stuff in there.
There's a funny line Culber says. I don't know exactly what the line was, but it's something like, "I have to save your life so I can kill you."
Yeah, that was great. But also if you can say my husband brought me out of coma and all I got was this stupid t-shirt or something like that, if you can spell that, I'll let you go back to work. And he can't. He's like
Does spell it, but not with the hyphen.
Yeah, it's
Hyphen,
it's
come on,
really
guys.
funny. I also
and-
liked. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, just the cellular regeneration booth was the same cellular regeneration table seen in the very first episode of Discovery when Michael
Oh yeah,
needs to
Michael.
go in
Yeah.
it from the binary stars. So just a good reuse of prop for some added continuity.
Why don't people actually stay in the cellular regeneration thing as long as they need
It's a
to?
TV thing.
Wasn't Stammy in a pool of blood? Yes, Stammy was in a pool of blood. Going back, Ian says, I think Giorgio isn't even a member of the crew, more like a tag along for the ride. I think that they've adopted her. He did refer to her as a commander, so he's given her at least those privileges.
She's like the
Saru.
Dr. Smith of this crew from Lost in
She's
Space.
1,000
You know what I mean?
nailed it. Yeah, she's 1,000%.
Oh, the pain of it all.
Doctor.
Yeah, she's the oddball. She's the wild card, as somebody said in the chat earlier. Like, you can just put her in there to like do all the morally compromising things that you don't want the Discovery crew to do.
As much as I liked, again, the first episode, what was great about this episode is that you really did get like a real effort to give us an ensemble situation here, right? Like, like you definitely, like I would say that almost every member of the bridge crew had a significant, like, moment on the screen, like, you know, Owisha-kun, consoling Detmer, just like the whole crash landing sequence got them all, you know, to report their statuses and like work together to make that happen. I like that. What's his name? Who had to
Bryce.
Reese, yeah, or Bryce. Sorry, Bryce. Reese is it not? Who's Reese?
Reese is the one on the bridge.
Oh, that's right. So Bryce was working on the communications, the ship communications, and just all of it. It was really good. Again, seeing Linus, like it was really awesome to have all that.
I'd
so
say
that was
this
like the big one.
I would say that in regards to looking at the rest of the crew, the best episode of Discovery, because season 1 was quite bad and we didn't get a lot of the rest of the crew. It's just really Michael and Tilly and Tyler or whatever. 2 was a little better. As Pike was introduced, he asked people to introduce them, and we got some more like lunch scenes. But this episode, they were all doing their thing. We all got little more character with them, and just their interactions between each other. And I thought that was really good.
And you can focus on these characters now, like Kayla and Owisha-kun and Reese and Jet Reno. It had a lot of screen time.
We haven't even talked about Jet Reno.
Because you don't have Michael anymore. Well, not in this particular episode. You know, Michael, Pike's gone. You know, all of the clutter of season 2 is kind of swept away. So you can focus on the characters now. And I like the cut between, you know, them working on stuff on the ship and then the whole Western original series vibe you get in that like one location in which they stay for like the entire, pretty much most of the episode.
The bar, Planet Hell.
And they managed to create good dialogue, good scenes in just that one location and make it interesting throughout the entire episode.
I do think that was the stronger part of the, like, if you were to separate the two, like there's the part in the bar and the part in the ship. I think the part in the bar was way stronger than the part on the ship. But I did very much appreciate all of Reno's scenes.
Yeah.
And like Stamets isn't my favorite character, but I think he worked quite well here. Like the stubbornness of him, and you know, the kind of like the back and forth between him and Reno seems like banter. Where in season 2 it was like they're trying to do banter, but they both come across as really kind of, I don't know, just annoying. So yeah, that worked very well.
We shout out to Tig Notaro, who was on the official Star Trek podcast, The Pod Directive, this week, and it was a very good episode. I really enjoyed listening to her, and she's so funny, but I think it's natural. I think she was really genuinely expressing some of her insecurities, and so I think I felt like we were laughing with her, but it was very relatable and nice, and she just seems like a wonderful person. I think she was a lot more comfortable, and I hope we see her like in almost every episode. But she says on the podcast that she likes her position as a special guest star whenever she comes on.
She just likes
she's acting chief engineer, isn't she, at this point, Reno?
We've never seen the chief engineer.
We've never, I don't think we've met the chief engineer.
We don't know about chief engineer or chief medical officer.
Chief medical officer, no clue. But I think Reno, like in my head now, chief engineer died sometime,
I would
and
like
now Reno's acting.
Yeah.
Reno's just acting chief engineer.
Yeah, and it's just busy doing other things when she's
because clearly Stamets is the mushroom guy, and he doesn't know how to do he didn't know how to replace the strip. He didn't know that. He didn't know how to do that. So he needed Reno's help to do that, to walk a meter, crawl a meter, and then replace the strip. So yeah, I'm just going to assume she's acting now.
Yeah, like Stamets still knew that he had to do that, but I would say Reno's way more confident at that than him.
I think also we get my new favorite character ever after Mr. Sahil, which is Hazmat Gene. So
Hazmat Gene.
Hazmat Gene, I love him.
With his 20th century shovel.
Yes.
Yep.
Haphazardly shoveling biomatter into a container. It just doesn't look right.
He was also doing it quite slowly. I know it was probably to have him do that for the entire scene, but it was like, if people in the real workplace today work that slow, you know, you might get a shakeup. Come on.
I'm assuming that Hazmat Gene's like like an intern age, like a younger age, and I was always wanting to stick around, so I would do work a little slower just to hear what the bosses were saying, just to kind of like
And also,
get
it's
that.
like it's probably the work you want to get done fast, but it's gross enough that you take your time because you're like, oh god.
Hazmat Gene was an exchange program, and he wasn't okay when everyone said, "Let's fly the Discovery to the other end of the timeline." It's like, oh no.
We get the crew complement minus Burnham, which is 88. So we know that there's 88 souls aboard.
Hold on, going back to Gene, you missed a very funny line by Jet Reno, where he's like, "My name's Gene." She's like, "I've already forgotten."
I've forgotten that.
So good.
That
was a good line.
I like that.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all. I just wanted to give him a little highlight because I really like.
I actually wonder if that was improvised or not, because I could see Tignataro just improving that.
Yeah,
she probably forgot her line because it had some technobabble, and she was just like, "Oh, I forgot your name."
And I noticed people complained a little bit about her in season 2, how her acting was a little flat, and she has acted in other things, and the other things I saw her in were she did a slightly better job, and I do kind of get that kind of very dry delivery. It comes across as like, I don't know, shitty acting to some people. But I think they found a balance in this episode in particular, because it seemed like she was finally comfortable in the role. Because even the actor herself said in interviews, like, she had a really hard time, like, doling out that technobabble.
And
I'm
it's
sure
hard.
There's many takes of her doing that. And by the way, I'm say that Geordie LaForge, LeVar Burton is the best technobabble guy. He can handle technobabble better than
1000%.
any other Trek actor.
He knows what it means too. He knows what he's saying.
Or he can believe he knows what he's saying.
Yeah, he's just inventing all of this, but he knows.
Yeah. But you don't have to take our word for it. Haha. The Boimler effect. Hazmat Gene was demonstrating the Boimler effect. I agree with you, Ian. That's exactly what was happening there.
It'll take an hour to shovel this.
You're crashing on a planet. You ain't got no time for that.
So Burnham comes and saves the day at the end. What was your take on that? Did you guys expect it? Were you expecting it? Or I mean, I was expecting it because I already saw this episode.
Yeah, but were you expecting it originally?
No, I wasn't expecting it. I actually was not expecting it. It was a total surprise. What did you guys think about that?
Originally, I thought they weren't going to show Michael Burnham at all.
Yeah.
But once at the end, when something's coming to save them, their Deus Ex Machina or whatever, I was like, yeah, that's clear.
Well,
clearly,
I thought it was actually
clearly a Burnham. And I knew she was going to have the long hair, and I knew she was going to say, oh, it's been a year or 2 years. But yeah, a year was the thing I thought. But yeah, I thought this was going to be the first episode without Sneak with Martin Green. But no, they put her in there at the end. And the fact that she's absent from this episode really gives a lot of the other characters to breathe. But still, when you see her at the end, and she's beautiful, and I love her, and it's like you're so happy to see her, you know what I mean? You're just as happy as the crew of the Discovery. And she like literally just saves their asses, which is great.
I was trying to think, like, I would have enjoyed not having her at all and have her come in and save the day kind of in the beginning of episode 3, but I don't know how that would have... I don't know how that would have worked. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it wouldn't have worked too well, I suppose. It works better as, like, they're saved, and then we can really dive into, like, the crew and her meeting up and catching up in the next episode.
Do you think they would have survived if she didn't come along? Do you think they would have broken free from the ice?
Oh, no, the terribly CG ice would have killed them.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but...
By the way, parasitic ice, that's a very Doctor Who-y type of concept.
Yeah, I thought it was... And how it grows in the dark, it's very Doctor Who. I was just like, oh, okay. I can deal with
it grows on the ship, but not on the buildings. Is there a reason behind that?
They might have...
On the glacier, maybe?
It might only be on the glacier or wherever there's ice.
Yeah, it could be like heat sensing. So it doesn't...
Don't they have a shield outside that bar?
Oh.
The bar might have a shield or
there's a barrier that they have to go through?
Yeah, it's true.
No,
sure.
The bar was like
device.
So it had a transporter that transported you into the rock. So I guess.
But surely they had some kind of heat thing, yeah. Because that whole rock face didn't have ice on it or anything like that.
Okay.
I love the
thought
scene
the
where
ice was just located in that glacier, and that was the only part about
Perhaps, yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
He was gonna make Tilly go out there with a phaser and just blast her way through all the parasitic ice until she got back to the. I'm surprised it didn't
Oh, he was
affect
such a good
them.
villain.
I would have liked. I would have liked if Tilly and Saru, who had to walk across the glacier, maybe noticed something funny about the ice. It was dormant, but like maybe it was still weird. And they had that in mind, but it's okay. There were a lot of a lot of things that could
but it
go.
only starts to manifest as the sun goes down, I guess.
Sun goes down, yeah, or it starts to, as it gets, yeah. It was an interesting concept, but I thought it was very, very Doctor Who.
I like how they didn't have Tilly all of a sudden start kicking ass and shoot people. I like how Saru's like, get behind the bar. You're not ready for this. She's still green. She's still very much a cadet, even in the third season. And I don't
She still hit the guy with a glass bottle at the end.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. That was a
She-
good
she
scene,
got-
actually. That's really good.
She's like, take that.
The death of Carl actually affected me quite. I was like, oh my god, they.
I like that
And
character.
it
Yeah,
was
I
so-
like that character.
It was
And it was so
gruesome, and it was it was really gritty. I was like, oh my god,
was-
it's murdered her.
Yeah.
And I was like, do it to Joju, but that's just me.
were they
Yeah,
new?
and the weapon
hit-
is it tortures you basically. It gives
Yeah.
you a very slow, painful death, and the guy's enjoying it, so he's a piece of shit. Obviously, he's still alive. He's
Oh, he's
not
coming
dead.
back.
Yeah.
It was It was really gross and brutal too. His eyes bleeding and all that stuff. What species have we seen that species before? Cow's
they're
people.
Coordinates. They're
Yeah.
from Enterprise.
Oh,
They were
I've gotta
mentioned. They
go
were
watch it.
mentioned in the original series actually, because when they
Yes.
were doing,
In Journey to Babel.
Journey to Babel, they're going to that planet, I think, Cordon or whatever.
They're going to Babel to discuss the mining rights on
Oh,
Cordon.
that's right.
What?
And
That's
here we
really
have
nice.
Cordon
Wow,
Planet.
wow.
And then
Wow.
in Enterprise,
Nice.
in one of the final episodes, the Corridon is at the meeting and is like, we can't have trade embargoes on the Orions because we deal business with them. And then that's rectified in the original series.
So there's quite a lot of them in the Enterprise, that have like exact same makeup as the ones that we saw here. There's one that's got this weird ass face mask on him, and I think that's a breathing apparatus, maybe.
It's weird.
But he was sick or something. He needed his face fixed. But like it's the makeup is the same. It's just the same thing. It's great.
Very nice. I had no idea about all those things, so I'm gonna have to go check out the Enterprise episode.
Have you legitimately stopped your Voyager rewatch, or are you still watching through Voyager? Or is
I'm
that the
stuck.
off moment that
You're stuck.
I'm stuck. I have to get past where I'm at in season
Okay,
4.
I thought you stopped because I said Voyager and I said Janeway and Chakotay don't get together. I thought that killed you. You're like, no. Okay.
I actually would. Sorry, I had to burp. I actually would prefer that they not get together. I don't like their chemistry romantically. I like their friendship, but I don't like that for them. I kind of want Janeway to stay alone,
Wow. That's rude.
just until she gets back to Earth. Like, I don't know.
Brutal.
I'm terrible. It's true. Here I am, like having fantasies about living with Hazmat Jean, but I don't want Janeway to have have a partner. We got some more comments. Let's see here. It was a surprise for Stress Free K as well. I thought it was too soon for Michael Burnham as well. She showed up, but glad they can now move on from the Search for Disco plotline. Hey, how you doing? Triangulum Studios is here. Go check out that channel as well.
They also have that relief moment. It's not as like intense as we got with Burnham, but there's also that relief of like there's life here, and it's not just
Oh, I
there's
love
like
that.
on the planet we're helped. It's like
Yes.
we the mission is a success.
And it was subtle. Like, it was just Tilly being like, oh yeah, these places sustain life. There is life here.
By the way, we
That was
succeeded.
nice. Yeah. that was some nice.
Go check out Fathery on Text Track too. Sorry, we got a lot of cool people in the audience, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt. Janeway doesn't need no man, And then, like Arium, they use one episode to make you really like the character, then give them a brutal death. Space is no joke.
Well, Arium, it
true.
felt forced. I'm gonna bitch
Yeah.
on. I'm gonna be
I'll-
mean on season 2. Arium,
I'll say that. Yeah.
Arium was forced, whereas this was like really truly unexpected. It's like he's a character, he's nice. You get to know all these people, they're fine, and then they just kill the guy, and it's kind of like, oh my god. But yeah, I think it was. I don't know.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry.
I found the episode very creative, visually speaking. And I was saying, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Once we got to all of the mines and like everyone, like all of the buildings are kind of half floating in this destroyed kind of sky. I really liked all that.
Yeah, it was a really good looking episode. I will say there's one thing which I noticed for like 2 seconds in one of the scenes where Saru and Tilly were walking, is that you can see people in the background. Just like random onlookers in Iceland. It's only for like 2 or 3 seconds. But you can clearly see there's like 2 people in like
that's
blue
crazy.
jacket. Yeah.
I need to find that. I need to find that moment.
Yeah, it's just as Saru and Tilly are walking off the ship. And in one scene it cuts to Tilly and you can see 2 people. And then it does it again and there's nobody there.
Okay.
That's
Only
crazy.
2 seconds, so
Man,
And
Dom,
I
bring in
think
the
it's not-
scoops.
I think it's not the actor. Also, I think it's not Ditmer that goes over the console. I think it's a stunt double.
Ah.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
but that would make sense, yeah.
Well, we saw the behind the scenes kind of ish stuff on Ready Room, and they showed Giorgio's stunt double and all that stuff. Do all planets?
Probably says Michelle Paradise also wrote Project Daedalus, the episode where Arium died. So Paradise likes killing off characters.
Yep.
just another day in paradise. I liked it. I thought the Cal one was more
The Cal one worked better.
more impact. Yeah, it
Yeah.
did work better. Do all planets in the 32nd century look like Iceland? I don't think they will. Next stop is Earth,
I thought it
right?
was the same planet. To be honest,
Yeah, but Earth has Iceland, so
It's true.
you guys, all three just kind of like agree that it's not the same planet. I thought it was the same before you guys started, like.
I was confused at first, and then I watched it again.
'Cause
I
then
guess
Burnham-
it's a different place.
Yeah, I thought it was the same planet, and then Burnham arrives. I'm like, okay, she's been chilling here for like a year or something.
No, she's been going around. She's been looking around.
We
Yeah.
can't
Yeah,
give
well,
spoilers, but we got a little glimpse of what Burnham's life
Burnham's
is
been doing.
like in the preview scene that they gave on the Ready Room.
I mean, I would
Okay.
say the debris in the planet made it seem different, whereas this was just like moons and floating rocks. There were no floating rocks in the first episode, and it was just
Fair
like
enough.
ship
You
debris.
would see those floating rocks from anywhere on the surface,
And
right? Yeah.
and it seemed like there were very big planets. It was orbiting or moons or whatever in the first episode.
Yeah.
In like landscape shots. And we
That's
didn't see
right.
that in
There were
this,
those two,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
This looked like Earth in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You guys don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, but
All
what
right, well,
this
at the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Earth has exploded and it's all debris, and this is what it looks like.
my immediate thought was Starkiller base construction site. Like it looked like they hadn't built the cannon yet or whatever, and so that's what I was thinking with the cold and all that.
We're probably gonna see 4 more planets in the season. They all look like that same place in Iceland.
Well,
But you know, the
gotta
interesting
get
thing
their
about
money
season
worth.
4 is they can't do that location stuff now. They're gonna use those VR, you know, those
AR.
screens
I
that they
heard
use for
that-
Mandalorian. So they
Yeah.
can really switch it up now. They can do all kinds of different
they're
shit.
just trying to do AR Iceland now. Be crazy different.
I'd love it. They have the tech, but they just go back to like the ice rock planet. They're doing it again. It's so cool.
They digitally recreate Vasquez rocks.
I mean, they could do it. It's totally possible. It's
Yeah.
true. Oh, that's cool. I saw that too.
Vasquez
That
rocks, but it looks like Iceland. So it's
You
like
can
Iceland.
digitally recreate those cardboard rocks from the original series now, just to have that true vibe.
clearly we've come to the part of the conversation where we have to rate the episode because we've expired all the relevant things to talk about. Overall impressions, really good. I'll go first as I tend to, so that everyone else believes my rating. I really loved. I'd said on last week's stream that I was gonna rate this episode higher, and it's true because I really overall I think like as much as the first episode is very impactful and great and kind of and that high point that moment with Mr. Federation is like beautiful and made me cry. Like I finally watched it by the way and didn't cry this time. So it's like after the sixth or seventh time I stopped crying in that scene. I just really like the juxtaposition that this episode offered with the team effort and the whole everyone working together to repair the ship, and then we get the little nice Michael Burnham cherry on top as a 1-2 punch. I think these episodes play really well off of each other as well. You can easily watch them back to back, so I think that's a good way to watch it. Anyways, it gets a 9.7 from me for this episode.
Damn.
I'm saving
imagine if these were the two first episodes of Discovery. Like we know nothing about the Red Angel, nothing. Just we start off the show.
That would be
This
crazy.
character Burnham arrives. Boom.
It actually could actually work. I'm saving my 10 for Unification Part 3. I have a feeling that episode's gonna like end me. Especially based on, it's true. It's just gonna be a really good episode. I have a feeling it's gonna be nutso. But anyways, that's me. PJ, you want to go next?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun episode overall. I actually liked the first episode a little bit more. I thought it was just, well, I like Sneak with Martin Green, so I wasn't sad that she wasn't in the episode. I actually appreciate that they actually gave the other characters more screen time and stuff like that. I like what they did with Saru. Tilly's okay. Tilly's always Tilly. They need
She
to do
was
something.
less Tilly this time around. I found
Because
she's
she seemed about the same kind of Tilly to
she's-
me.
Yeah,
well,
she's
she
like,
annoyed me less, I think. And maybe
Okay.
it's due to the context in which she was placed.
Mm.
or you're
Perhaps.
just starting to like her. You're starting to grow to understand her and like her.
I don't
So
know. We'll
I'll-
see. We'll see about that.
I'm not giving away like 8, 9s, and 10s here, so I'm gonna give it. I gave the last episode a 7.5. I'll give this a 7. This is a solid 7, and that's still
Solid
good.
7.
Some
Yeah, it
people
is
would
really
say
good.
that's bad, but no, it's 5 and
Any-
4 are bad.
Above a
scores.
5. I mean, my ratings are very ridiculous, guys. I just go with how I feel.
It's
I
all
admit it.
subjective anyway, though.
It's all subjective. It's true. In fact, you know what I liked about our Saturday discussion, which was Dom's premiere, is that we didn't actually rate it at the end. We might,
No, we
and we don't do that on.
What did you
Text
talk
Trek.
about?
This we just kept.
just
We
talked
talked
about
more about Discovery.
Okay.
It was Discovery further
This.
discussion. This we did more Discovery. But anyways, carry on. Go ahead, Dom. Give us your rating. Make it ridiculous if you like. Don't be shy.
I enjoyed this episode more than episode 1. I think I said last week. I originally did not enjoy episode 1. I enjoyed how they used the Discovery crew, and we got moments with basically all of them, and they weren't superficial or anything. They actually meant something to the characters and showed us stuff about them. I enjoyed the Western aspect of it. It really added to the world building and just showed us cool stuff. So I'm gonna give it probably an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
You know, it's gonna take a lot to get 9s and 10s out of me.
Good
there we go.
and proper.
Yeah.
Audience, by the way, chime in with your ratings. I see Stress Free K already has. And now we come to you, Mr. Trek on the Tube. Toddy.
I don't know if I like this one more or less than the previous one. They're very different kind of beasts, I guess. This one feels more Star Trek, if that means anything at this point. And I like the problem solving. There was a lot of problem solving. There was problem solving with the crash. They were trying to figure out how to survive that. There was problem solving with the infectious ice, parasitic ice. And there was, I don't know, it vibed more Star Trek than the previous one. But I felt like the CG was very weak in this episode. I felt like a lot of what I was watching was kind of like in regards to the ice and that kind of stuff. But the performance is pretty great, and the guest actor, solid performance.
I'm gonna hold out on the CG till I get this on Blu-ray, because I learned that Star Trek Picard looks a shit ton. I can swear you can't. A shit ton better than it did even on streaming, and I was really surprised at that. And now I need to get Star Trek Discovery season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray as well, because I'm very curious to see how it does from physical media. But yeah, I agree that like the ice.
It's okay though. I mean, sometimes I love The Expanse, and sometimes, most of the time, The Expanse is great. But I told you, like in season, what was it, 4 that we just had? Sometimes I'm like, oh, that didn't look too good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I give this the same as episode 1. I give it a 7 out of 10.
Great. All right.
It's some solid discovery, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm
Rank high in my
pretty impressed.
discovery list.
It's funny how the first episode kind of feels like another show. Like, I know people made the Andromeda comparisons, and it kind of does. And like it's and then the second episode was like very TOS. I found it had that like like classic Star Trek. Literally, the Discovery crew is now discovering new things that they have no idea about for the first time. Well, not the first time, but you know what I mean, like in a whole new world that they're unfamiliar with. So it should make for an interesting season, and if this season should, by all means, be better than the last two. Not that they were garbage or anything, but you don't have Pike now, you don't have Spock. You have to rely completely on the cast that you've become familiar with, and there's plenty of opportunities now to actually discover.
Yeah, they're literally out of the nest of canon. They've like flown as little birds of.
But
of
they're everything they're doing in this season is creating new canon.
Yeah.
So they're
absolutely.
we're
It's
still
very
in the
exciting.
canon realm, because everything that they do now and everything they set up does count in some way, unless they go back and change time or
Sure hope not.
the timeline.
Yeah, stay away from time.
Yeah.
No
Travel.
time to argue about
They
time.
destroyed-
50%
time
people.
technology.
I rather think of time as a companion that goes along with you along.
Where have I heard that before?
Stress-free K gives it a 9.75
Clearly from Lord of the Rings.
programmable matter bits, and then Michael gives it a 9.47 tongue-in-cheek, or maybe it's a real rating. And then Stress-free K asks, "Is programmable matter a thing in real life? Would CRISPR be a precursor?" It is not a real thing because I don't think we've broken through to particle engineering yet. I think programmable matter would have to it's definitely still in the realm of science fiction, which is another thing that I love about it, is that it really is truly fitting in this, in the sense that like now we have something very new and weird and cool to think about, that future tech, right? Like
It's nanotechnology, basically.
Nanotechnology, yeah.
In 30
Yeah.
and 50 years, we may have a lot of the technology we're seeing now in the 3180s.
It's
Much
true,
like in the
it's very possible.
60s, like
Well, and much like TNG, I mean the pad. Modern, modern computing is all based on TNG, especially some of the theories about computing and computing cores and all that stuff. We got a 7 out of 10 from Sleepy Trekkie, so excellent, guys. This was such a joy to have you on. Will you really quickly go over where the audience can find you, starting with Toddy?
Check on the tube, the channel.
I know.
There's the YouTube channel. There's the Twitters, and that's it. I have 2 podcasts now. I have Trek Chat, where I talk to 2 different guests every month, and then we chat about something Star Trek related. And I've started Captain's Personal Log recently, which is a comedy endeavor. We'll see where that goes. A non-scripted comedy endeavor. So yeah, and that's it. At Trick on the Tube.
Very nice. Dom Paris.
Yes, it is me. You can find me on Twitter at there we are.
Right there.
Dom D Paris. I'm also the content manager on Trek Central, where we break down news and reviews of Star Trek. We do live streams on Sundays about all these new Discovery episodes, so you can catch me there.
Yep, absolutely. PJ.
you can catch me on Twitter right here. And
Let's move. Yep.
I have a channel called Boat Wreck and PJ's Media Reviews, which Sean is pretty much on every video with me talking about various
Anything.
TV shows and movies, pretty much anything. The last video we did was about The Simpsons Halloween special from this year, and that was a fun discussion. And Starfleet Boy is also on there sometimes, so check that out too. So yeah.
Absolutely, I love it. And then I just want to say to check out tomorrow TQIF every Friday night throughout the rest of the season, maybe forever. We don't know. At least throughout the rest of the year.
For
but
all
TQIF for all time. We start out at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow Eastern Standard Time at Text Trek, where I might be on this episode. I don't know yet.
I might be able
I'll
to
let
join you guys in 2 weeks' time when I'm no longer working.
Oh
I
my
might be able to do
gosh.
something way after darks as well, maybe.
What? This is nuts. And if we keep Dom awake on a Friday night, it'll be a real party. It'll be crazy with all this lighting and everything. And Shaka comes on with his lighting as well. PJ and Sean need to work up. We need to get you guys some fancy lights. But anyways, check that out. And then afterwards, around 10:30, depending on how long Text Trek goes on, we do Starfleet Boy After Dark, and then Saturdays we are now doing a live stream, which is sometimes experimental, sometimes it may be more further discovery discussions. We shall let that happen organically because we put our TOS discussions on hold for the Doctor, who is a regular on those. So that's all we've got. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our reactions. We'd love to hear more about what you think. If you're watching this in the replay, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button. It helps to confound the algorithm, which is always a good thing.
Confounded algorithm.
Confound the algorithm. All right.